Welcome to the Share Chair podcast, where we tell each other's stories and learn from listening. This is the start of the second year of the Share Chair podcast.
Welcome back.
Welcome.
Long summer. Amazing.
Well, yes, sad
Yeah.
to lose summer, I guess.
I know.
And I'm in the room with Ashley Higgs,
Yeah.
who's going to be really working the podcast.
Yep.
But two other
Dual
voices
hosting.
in the room, which are awesome, and really excited about expanding, really not just the podcast, but now putting the podcast under a bigger umbrella of elevating empathy through art, through writing, is Isabel Donnelly
Hello.
and Anna West.
Hi. I forget that waving doesn't work.
So it's funny. I remember this time last year saying to Elise, I don't know why I feel like it may not,
Yeah.
and she's like, just stop. We're gonna do it because we're
Yeah.
gonna do it, and it's gonna, and then it'll be fine. And so maybe I just need you to say like, Toonie, just chill out.
Mr. Tooney's gonna work out.
You need
It's
to
gonna
chill.
be great.
Okay,
We're
good.
gonna change lives.
All
It's gonna be great.
right, one life at a time.
Yeah.
So for me, the most important thing to know is that we're grounded in good reason. Like, why to you, ladies, is empathy, kindness, sharing stories through art, speaking, writing, anything? Why is that important? Because I feel like if we have reason that this is good work, then we'll be more likely to do it. Other people will be more successful. Other people will be more likely to listen.
Right.
And so we better make sure we're grounded in a real reaon to do it, and not just like, oh, won't using technology be fun, or like won't like just reading people's stuff. I don't know. It has to have a much richer
Meaning.
reason. So
Yeah.
thoughts on that?
Interesting.
Well, I was thinking about this on the way here, and so Isabel, Ashley, and I are going to be seniors this year, so that's exciting. And I don't know about you guys, but my freshman year, I was remembering, I didn't know any, all the upperclassmen, and that was a super scary feeling. People are always scary when you don't know them. But going towards my senior year, there have definitely been times where I look at Spring Lake and it's oh, I know everyone. I've got everyone figured out. And I think one of my favorite things about the Share Chair podcast last year was listening to people's episodes and realizing that, holy crap, I really don't know this person. I don't know what their deal was. I never would have realized that they had this passion, that they had this backstory. So it's just not being so full of yourself, just to think that you know everyone. And if you know that you don't know everyone, just to make it so you get to know people's deal and see that they're not really that scary, because we're all just people.
I love that. We're all just people.
Yeah. Everyone is different, and different is beautiful. And if you get to know someone better, you're less likely to bully them or judge them for the way that they are if you understand why they are that way. So if you really get to know that person before you judge them, things get a little easier and nicer. The world gets warmer if you do that.
Kind of like, shut up and listen.
Yeah, yeah.
Maybe there is good from listening, right? And just being, a good listener. You know what I struggle with though? Is you say people are different, different is beautiful, but so in my, soon to be 40 years, sometimes different, well, I like that you say different is beautiful, because I lose that mentality sometimes, where sometimes different makes me mad.
Yeah.
We have to I have to remind myself that sometimes different is hateful speech, right? Well, that's different, but I still need to listen to that person, or I
Yeah.
still need to understand that person's story, or I still have to. So sometimes different to me is not beautiful,
Yeah.
but I get that it can be if I just stop and listen. It's but those people are still worthy of knowing their story and what's going on, and that's, to me, for our work, is the biggest challenge. I mentioned this last time, but is finding voices from everywhere,
Yeah.
you know, from at least inviting voices from everywhere. We can't
Yeah.
force that, but inviting all voices to matter.
I'm trying to think of like something to reference to like, and the only thing that keeps coming into my head are like psychological studies that people are like, that's horrible and that's so unethical, or it hurts someone. But in the end, when you look back, things like the Stanford Prison Experiment, which was completely horrifying to witness, gave way to so many psychological, I don't know, theories and
Question.
yeah, and things to look back on. And if that hadn't happened, if those people hadn't spoken so horribly, like you say, and you didn't want to listen, if we hadn't listened, think of all the things we wouldn't have found out and the things that we wouldn't have discovered about that person. So I think it's good to just sit down and listen.
Yeah, and definitely going off of that, like, what keeps coming into my mind is terrorism. I've been watching, like, The West Wing a lot this summer, and there's this really, there's, like, an episode where there's a terror threat in the White House, and one of the staffers says, like, there's really not that much to be gained in trying to figure out why someone straps a bomb to their chest and goes into a building, and to a certain extent, that's definitely true. But, like, it's not about, like, when you're talking about different being hateful, it's not about, like, accepting the hateful speech so much as that there's importance and merit in finding out where that's coming from,
Yeah.
what drove them, if only because, like, problems to be solved can, like, we can solve, I don't know that we can solve problems with that, but it's important to know, is what I think. So, and it's not like, we definitely get to control what we put on the podcast, and since it's elevating empathy, we should, like, focus on the positive, but
Yeah.
there is that negative in the world.
Right, and that maybe there's something to be learned there
Yeah.
too, right?
And the positive from the negative would be, oh, this person has a story and they have something going on, and maybe I should say hi to them in the hallway next time I see them.
Right, and through us like doing this empathy project and through us being so kind, we, like Ashley says, like here we are to say like change lives, and us like having this mindset and having this perspective that we're gonna show people could, you know, help with something that we might not understand, which different. I do my air quotes. You know, and it's just gonna be an incredible experience, and I'm so excited to get started.
So excited.
I had a meeting, sports meeting with Mr. Moe, and he said all of you in this room are special, and that goes for all of like Spring Lake and Spring Lake students. All of you are special, but none of you are entitled to be rude or bully someone just because I call you special. Like, I don't know, it was just really interesting to hear and
Humbling.
humbling, yeah. That was just really cool.
So Anna or Isabel, could you talk about this? I mean, we still have to flush out the theme idea, but
should've
can
brought
you
my
can you
notes.
speak a little bit about the theme idea
Well, we can
behind
do
the
theme,
art?
like within
Yeah.
Behind the art and the writing specifically? We've got this idea
Yeah,
of
maybe we
themes, and
should-
so
Yeah.
let's.
So basically, what we're thinking at this point is that on our website, we're going to have a submission form where your people can submit their art, their writing, that kind of deal. And we're going to have themes by month that relate to empathy. So if you have like a creative work or a non-fiction, like a narrative, personal narrative story. And our theme for September is new beginnings, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotta
it
check
is.
sometimes. But with the new school year coming in, we thought it would be apt.
as far as art and also your writing, we also have a part where you can put a description if you would like. It's about a 50-word, did we say? 50-word task. Just telling us a little bit about how this relates to our theme and how what inspired you to make this piece.
and the reason for that is just like, right, we could see a scenario in which, oh, here's this piece of art, which the piece of art is cool and interesting or
Right.
whatever, but I don't understand how it connects to
Empathy.
or
The
the
theme.
theme of new beginnings, and I don't really see that, and so the description can really solidify that for us.
Right.
Yeah.
And we need that to come from the artist, of course, or the writer, so that is a piece of art, but we could even see a poem having the same, like, I don't quite see that connection. So to have the writer, to have the artist make that connection to the theme for us could be a helpful piece. And then we're thinking of releasing like the actual art and writing though once a month, and that those will end up all over the place where we are, which is where are we going to be? We're going to be on a new website.
Yep. Oh, that we're redesigning. We're gonna be on
Yes.
Twitter. We're gonna be on
on
Facebook. We'll do an
Instagram.
Instagram that Isabel will run beautifully.
Oh yeah.
And we'll have our SoundCloud page still for the podcast.
Part of what we want to do this year is to reach out beyond Spring Lake. Now this could be hard, right? Because it's
Right.
this is where it's sort of rooted
where it
and
started,
founded.
right.
So this might be a challenge, but we talked about it the last time. Is like all ages, like what's keeping a parent or a grandparent or somebody else from submitting a piece of
right,
work,
yeah.
a piece of art, a piece of writing, from
If we're
coming
trying-
in,
yeah.
reaching out and finding. So.
Because if we're gonna elevate it, might as well elevate it outside of where it's rooted from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So how about goals? I'll start. I have a goal.
Yeah.
Ashley this year. So I'm talking to Ashley because it's more podcast related. I really want to interview somebody in juvenile detention.
Yes. Let's
Like
do
I
it.
really want to go
Wow.
to
I
a
want to hear it.
to a prison
Yeah.
or to and understand that a little bit more.
You know, I want to say just meet new people and get to know people I may not have known from the beginning, but I love doing that. I love meeting new people and hearing new stories and getting to talk because I love to talk. And I think learning how to edit will be cool. And
I don't want to put my standards too high, but I would love a lot of submissions.
Yeah.
Just so like,
Yeah.
like art listeners and with elevating it, and it's just, I want this journey just to, I mean, I have expectations and I'm setting goals, and of course I'm not going to be disappointed if they're not met or if they are overly achieved. That would be awesome. But I just want to see a lot of people just getting out of their comfort zone. Like this for me is out of my comfort zone, and I'll admit that to whoever's listening. Like I would have never imagined that I'd be like, yeah, sure. Let's do this Elevate Empathy thing. And then I was like, you know what? Yeah, I want to do that.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, don't be shy. And if you are shy, talk to me. I'm not. I'm a really friendly lady, and I'm easy to talk to, and we can talk it out and figure this out and get your art and your emotions out there. I think it'll be cool.
Yeah, piggybacking off of Isabel, I want to see a lot of submissions. I am really excited for this project just to see what Spring Lake people and people in the community, our global community even, are like writing and what they want to say and share. I think it would be very cool if we could get a wide variety in the kind of like written work that we're seeing. So like if someone like definitely like the poetry and like the stories, but like even like if someone wanted to do like a blog post kind of thing where like they're maybe not comfortable coming on the podcast, or I just I don't want to like force anyone, but I want to see people get real. Like I want something to make me cry this year.
That's the goal.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. So, awesome. You know, I was just, before we turned the recording on, I said that a friend had said if we can move bystanders into engaged people who help just create a culture. So it's not necessarily that you must take this specific action, because it's so ongoing. It's so empathy is so it's a hard thing to like be like, oh, we are or are not empathetic, because people are constantly changing, and but if we can move people to be more active and engaged, then even in the smallest way. So like, while I have high hopes, I don't even care if it's a small, like if we could just move people a little bit to be more active in empathy than they were before. That's success, you know.
Your voice is important, so let us hear it.
There
Hashtag
you
don't
go.
be shy.
All right, we got 9 months of work ahead of us,
We're good.
and
We're ready.
let's do it. All right, cool.